The question of AI and job loss is a very interesting one. We live in a moment right now where almost 250,000 people in these tech companies have lost their jobs. And it isn't because they're short on cash. And so the kind of business case for cutting a job versus the kind of social understanding of why we work, these ideas are getting thrust into the front of newspapers. People are having to think like, what is fair here? If a machine can do it, if a human can do it, what is appropriate? The knee-jerk reaction to conversations about AI and job loss should be retraining, because these tools do not eliminate the sort of value of an employee that knows a company. They just may change the tasks that they do. To give an example of this in practice, there was a trade union in Denmark that partnered with the healthcare industry to reassign workers. They looked at what they were trained to do, what a machine could do, and then what was needed. And they said, well, this group of workers could actually be easily retrained to do the work that we now need with AI. So, people at call centers that might be losing their jobs could be retrained to be prompt engineers, which is the name for those who kind of use large language models in a kind of sophisticated way. They could be retrained and redeployed in a different area. And I think there may be a kind of knee-jerk reaction to just let people go, and that's hasty. I think that decision ought not be made in haste, because we're still smarter than AI. Humans have a lot to offer, and human employees are not, totally replaceable. It's more about working with the strengths of what humans can do: empathy, care, judgment, alongside these tools, which are more equipped to do, fast-paced decision making or something like that. I think we should be mindful of keeping humans in the loop, even as jobs change. And I'll say, it serves nobody to have massive job loss. It does not serve business owners. It does not serve governments. It does not serve employees. And so we need to be mindful of keeping the social fabric of society threaded. If there's an advertisement online right now for teachers to get paid in the States $25 or $40 an hour to train a model to do their job, which is pretty grim. It's kind of like, digging your own grave. But as an educator myself, I can say there's more to teaching than just the kind of rote, learn this, is it learned, check the box. Teachers help you discover who you can be. So that's a very clear example of not replacing human experts, but trying to augment their work when appropriate. The way these tools are deployed, the way AI is deployed, is often, I would say, the people on the ground actually know best where it could be used. So there's an example of at a hotel in New York, they wanted VIPs to be able to check into their rooms early. And so they used an AI tool to say, well, if we cleaned this room and then this room and then this room, we'd have more stock available for people coming in. And the workers on the ground said, well, hold on, that means pushing these 600-pound carts from one side of a giant hotel to the other side, and you're actually gonna, it doesn't add up, actually. You're gonna lose labor. The first call I would make if I was the CEO of a company thinking about using AI is to the people I'm thinking of replacing and saying, here's what this can do. How could we work together to make the most of what you know and what it can do? Because I think that will give businesses an advantage that is higher than just kind of layoffs. Cultural appropriation with AI is a major problem. These systems, as of yet, the large generative systems often rely on a degree of plagiarism. They're sort of provably mimicking artists' work, and if artists aren't remunerated for that's a problem. The legal battleground is fierce over this right now. Getty Images has sued one of the major generative AI image companies because it says you're using our material to train or to create, stock images from scratch. And so you're going to see some of these kind of legacy companies and these AI companies go to war legally over who owns what. In my life experience, amidst, the moment we live in now, we are beset by climate anxiety, a mental health crisis, a racial justice movement. Democracy is being challenged. It's in its 11th year of decline. I think we need artists more than ever to help us understand the world we live in. And I think it mistakes the role of an artist in society to overemphasize just the output, because it's more about what being an artist means. If you know artists, you will know what they, the kind of brilliance they bring to the world and how they see what is important, what they value. It might be your time or looking you in the eyes or, making you think differently about what it means to do what we do every day. But, again, there are going to be fewer people able to be artists if there's no money out there to pay rent. So I think it's a complicated situation, but I don't know. I don't want to be too grim, but these are huge, huge legal fights right now. And that's just the kind of reality of it. There's a lot of worry today about AI and fake news. I think this conversation can start at home with your kids, with your partner, about what has been called a kind of media diet. In the same way that you select the foods you eat, you can select the sources of information that you treat as authoritative. I think, as in your food diet, it matters to kind of have a diversity of things, to read from multiple outlets and to kind of compare the story you're getting to see that it's authentic. Fake news and disinformation, AI and machine learning tools are going to exacerbate this, unfortunately, in a real way. There is some hope that we can develop systems that kind of track the provenance of an idea, so you can prove that it's come from the New York Times, or you can prove that it's come from the Wall Street Journal. The trouble is it's a bit of a never-ending battle because one group builds the wall and the impersonators will build a ladder slightly taller. I would say also that the West, there are many countries in the world that have been mistrusting of media for a long time. If you live in an authoritarian country and the news says one thing, you may say, well, that's just not true. We know that's not true. And in the West, we've not been accustomed to questioning news, maybe in the same way. But I'm hopeful that this can start to change. And actually, I'll say one thing that's important. The difference that would make a difference in terms of the future of quality information versus disinformation is to hold tech companies, to treat them as publishers, same as a newspaper, because they will have the kind of infrastructure to start to do the work of weeding out the kind of garbage that otherwise unnecessarily disrupts our daily lives, our democratic societies. So I think it starts with accountability with the big platforms. And that's a conversation that's been brewing for a long time, and it will inevitably, I think, go that way. But it starts wherever you are, in the country you're in, holding power to account.